Desert, steaming holes all over the ground. A rider on horseback approaches John in a plume of dust. On-screen text tells us where we are. Nimbus 3 in the neutral zone. Sybok dismounts and leads his horse. I can't believe you'd kill me for a field of empty holes. John says, It's all I have. Sybok approaches John. Your pain. John. What do you know of my pain? Sybok. Share your pain. John. Tears and disbelief. Where did you get this power? Sybok pulls back his hood, revealing pointed ears. Have faith, my friend. John. You're a Vulcan. Sybok nods and smiles. Establishing shot. El Capitan Mountain. On-screen text tells us where we are now. Planet Earth, Yosemite National Park. Stardate 8454.1. Captain Kirk is free climbing El Capitan. Meanwhile, back at the campsite, McCoy says, I'm a nervous wreck. Back to the mountain. Spock says, Greetings, Captain. Kirk says, Spock! Why don't you go pester Dr. McCoy for a while? Dr. McCoy is not in the best of moods. At the campsite, McCoy says, Goddamn irresponsible, playing games with life. Scene 3, exterior Paradise City, Nimbus 3. A robed figure rides her mount hard to the city. She enters the saloon and walks to a back room. Caitlin. Gentlemen, I'm Caitlin Darr. Talbot. Oh yeah, our new Romulan representative. Welcome to Paradise City, my dear. I'm St. John Talbot, the Federation representative here on Nimbus 3. My charming companion is the Klingon consul, Cord. Cord takes a swig from a flagon and emits an earth-shaking belch. Caitlin. I expect that's Klingon for hello. Won't you come in, my dear? Caitlin, seated at table. 20 years ago, our three governments agreed to develop this planet together. Cord. Talbot. The settlers we conned into coming here immediately took to fighting. We forbade them weapons. They soon began to fashion their own. Caitlin. Well then, it appears I've arrived just in time. Cord. Sybok and his followers storm the gates and head straight for the saloon. Talbot goes to the transmitter and activates it. John says, Get away from that transmitter! Sybok. Romulan. Terran. Klingon. Consider yourselves my prisoners. Talbot. Prisoners? We're already prisoners on this worthless lump of rock. Caitlin. I don't know who you are or what you want. Sybok. That's precisely what I'm counting on. Scene 4. Enterprise and Space Dock. Scotty's voice. USS Enterprise. Shakedown cruise report. I think this new ship was put together by monkeys. She's got a fine engine, but half the doors won't open. Scotty says, Borgus frat. Uhura. You'll whip her into shape, Scotty. You always do. I can't leave her now when she needs me the most. So I brought us dinner. You're the most understanding woman I know. A klaxon sounds. Computer voice. Red alert. Red alert. Red alert. I just fixed that damn thing. Turn it off, will ya? Red alert. Red alert. This is a red alert. Enterprise acknowledge. Uhura says. This is Enterprise. Command voice. Enterprise, this is Starfleet. We have a priority 7 situation in the neutral zone. Uhura says. Stand by, Starfleet. Scotty, this is for real. Scotty says. The ship's in pieces and we've got less than a skeleton crew aboard. Uhura says, Starfleet, are you aware of our current status? Current status understood. Stand by to copy operational orders and recall key personnel. Scene 5. Yosemite campsite, night. McCoy says, Come and get it! Come and get it! Bones, knock it off. We're starving. Bipodal seeds, Doctor? Beans, Spock, but no ordinary beans. These are from an old southern recipe handed down to me by my father. And if you stick your Vulcan nose up at these, you're not only insulting me, but generations of McCoys. In that case, I have little choice but to sample your beans. Surprisingly good. It does have a flavoring I'm not familiar with. Ah, that's the secret ingredient. You got any more of that secret ingredient, Bones? Be my guest. Thank you. Your secret ingredient is alcohol? Whiskey. Tennessee whiskey, Spock. You care for a little snort? Kirk says. Ah. You two could drive a man to drink. You really piss me off, Jim. Human life is far too precious to risk on crazy stunts. It crossed my mind. And I knew I wouldn't die because the two of you were with me. I do not understand. I'll die alone. Spock dispenses a Kraft Stay Puft marshmallow from its electronic dispenser, then places it on the end of a stick and holds it over the flames. McCoy. Well, I'll be damned. Where'd you learn to do that? I consulted the ship's computer library. I haven't sung around a campfire since I was a boy in Iowa. What are we going to sing? Bones, what are we going to sing? Row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat. I love row, row your boat. Spock, do you know row, row, row your boat? That song did not come up in my research, Captain. The lyrics are very simple. It's row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. The doctor and I will start it off, and then when we give you the signal, you jump in. Don't say I didn't warn you. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but life. Spock, why didn't you jump in? I was trying to comprehend the meaning of the words. It's a song, you green-blooded Vulcan. You sing it. The words aren't important. What's important is that you have a good time singing it. Were we having a good time? God, I liked him better before he died. Campfire, bedding down. Spock. Captain? Spock, we're on leave. You can call me Jim. Jim. Yes, Spock. Life is not a dream. Go to sleep, Spock. Yes, Captain. Good night, Bones. Good night, Jim. Good night, Spock. Good night, Doctor. Good night, Spock. Good night, Jim. Scene 6. Deep space. NASA Pioneer probe, then a decloaking bird of prey. Bird of prey, bridge. Vixus. A probe of ancient origin. Claw. All weapons to my control. Scope! Captain Claw destroys the probe. Vixus in Klingon. Captain, new data. Hostages on Nimbus 3. One of the hostages is a Klingon. Claw. Plot course for Nimbus 3. Scene 7, Yosemite night, blinding light on campsite. McCoy says, "Get that damn light out of my face!" Uhura, "Mr. Scott apologizes for having to send the shuttlecraft. The transporter beam is still non-operational. Captain, we've received important orders from Starfleet Command. It appears shore leave has been canceled. Pack out your trash." Space, Angle Enterprise, interior Galileo 5 shuttlecraft. Kirk says, "All I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by." McCoy says, "Melville." Spock corrects him, "John Masefield." Interior Enterprise, control booth overlooking landing bay. Uhura's voice, "Ready for landing, Enterprise. You have control." Interior landing bay. Galileo lands, and the crew piles out. "All I can say is they don't make them like they used to. You told me you could have the ship operational in 2 weeks. I gave you 3. What happened?" "I think you gave me too much time, Captain." "Very well, Mr. Scott. Carry on." Turbolift voice, level. Kirk says, "Bridge, I hope." "I could use a shower." Spock says, "Yes." Enterprise bridge, female yeoman's voice, "Captain on the bridge." Uhura, "Captain, Starfleet transmission online." Kirk says, "Put it on the view screen, would you please?" "Can we have a little quiet, please? Can you clear that up?" Starfleet Commander Bob, "Enterprise, this is Starfleet Operations, come in." "Bob?" "Jim?" "Well, we're dressing informally, aren't we?" Kirk's t-shirt reads, "Go climb a rock." "You caught me on my way to the shower. I apologize for canceling shore leave, but look, we have a dangerous situation out on Nimbus 3. From what we can make out, a terrorist force has captured the only settlement, and they've taken hostages. The Klingon, the Romulan, the Federation consuls. Now, I know Enterprise isn't exactly up to specs. With all due respect, the Enterprise is a disaster. There must be other ships in the quadrant." "Other ships, yes, but no experienced commanders. Your orders are to proceed to Nimbus 3, assess the situation, and avoid a confrontation if possible. Above all, however, get those hostages back safely." "Understood. Kirk out." To the bridge crew, "I'm afraid the ship's problems will have to be solved en route. Let's go to work." From engine room, Scotty's voice, "Scotty here." Kirk says, "We'll need all the power you can muster, mister." The engine room, Scotty says, "Don't you worry, Captain." Back to the bridge, Kirk says, "All possible speed, Mr. Sulu." Sulu says, "Aye, aye, sir." Kirk sits in his chair, rocking uncomfortably. McCoy says, "What's the matter, Jim?" "I miss my old chair." Spock looks at him sympathetically. Scene 8. Bird of Prey warps to Nimbus 3. Bird of Prey bridge. Vixus says in Klingon with subtitles, "The Starship Enterprise has been dispatched to Nimbus 3. Claw replies in Klingon with subtitles, "Enterprise? That's Kirk's ship. Maximum speed. Success!" Scene 9. Enterprise warps to Nimbus 3. Kirk's voice, "Captain's log, stardate 8450. Enterprise bridge. Uhura, "Captain, we're receiving the hostage information you requested." Kirk, "Put it on screen." Computerized voice, "This is an authorized transmission from Starfleet Galactic Memory Bank." "Not General Cord." He's apparently fallen out of favor with the Klingon High Command. General Kord's military strategies were required learning when I was a cadet at the academy. When they put me out to pasture, I hope I fare better than Kord. Oh, this must be the hostage tape. Caitlin's image. A short time ago, we willingly surrendered ourselves to the forces of the Galactic Army of Light. At this moment, we're in their protective custody. Their leader assures us that we will be treated humanely so long as you cooperate with his demands. I believe his sincerity. He requests that you send a Federation starship to parley for our release at once. Be assured that we are in good health and would appreciate your immediate response. Sybok's image. I have no desire to harm these innocents. I implore you to respond immediately. Spock is transfixed by the image of Sybok. Enterprise, forward observation room. Kirk says, Spock, what is it? Do you know this Vulcan? I cannot be certain, but he does seem familiar. He reminds me of someone I knew in my youth. Who is it he reminds you of? There was a young student, exceptionally gifted, possessing great intelligence. It was assumed that one day he would take his place amongst the great scholars of Vulcan, but he was a revolutionary. What do you mean? The knowledge and experience he sought were forbidden by Vulcan belief. Forbidden? He rejected his logical upbringing and embraced the animal passions of our ancestors. Why? He believed the key to self-knowledge was emotion, not logic. When he encouraged others to follow him, he was banished from Vulcan, never to return. Fascinating. Uhura's voice. Captain to the bridge. Kirk. On my way. Spock. Coming, Captain. Enterprise bridge. Sulu. Approaching Nimbus 3. Standard orbit, Mr. Sulu. Captain, we're receiving transmission from Paradise City. They're demanding to know our intentions. Respond with static. Let them think we're having difficulty. Paradise City, can you boost your power? We're barely receiving transmission. Kirk says, Transporter room, status. Transporter room, Scotty. Scotty here, Captain. Transporter is still inoperative. Even if we could lock onto the hostages, we couldn't have beamed them up. On the bridge, Kirk. Then we'll have to get them out the old-fashioned way. Spock says, Klingon vessel now entering quadrant, bird of prey, estimating 1.9 hours until her weapons come to bear. Kirk, damn, let's go. Space over Nimbus 3, interior Galileo. Spock says, their equipment is primitive but effective. I recommend we land at coordinates 8563. Kirk says, that puts us pretty far away from Paradise City. To land any closer would risk detection. Mr. Sulu, execute. Aye, sir. Desert, night, exterior Paradise City. Chekhov's voice. Paradise City. Interior saloon. Chekhov's image. This is the Starship Enterprise. Captain Pavel Chekhov speaking. You're in violation of Neutral Zone 3D. I advise you to release your hostages at once or suffer the consequences. Sybok says, your threats amuse me, Captain Chekhov. Enterprise, bridge, Chekhov. Even as we speak, a Klingon warship is on its way. We estimate the arrival within the hour. Interior saloon, Sybok. Klingons will be quite angry. Chekhov's image. They are likely to destroy the planet. Sybok says, Captain Chekhov, I instruct you and your first officer to beam down to my coordinates. Exterior Nimbus 3, desert, night, Spock. At foot speed, I estimate the journey to Paradise City at 1.2 hours. Kirk, we don't have 1.2 hours. Kirk's POV, through binoculars, a tiny oasis in the near distance. Horses bray. Kirk's voice. Wait a minute. Perfect. Exterior Paradise City gates, night, horseback. John says, "Open the gate! It's our lookout party!" Kirk on horseback, "Federation soldiers right behind us! Close the gate!" Interior Paradise, Main Street. John says, "Where are they going?" Kirk says, "Spock." Spock says, "I'm scanning. The hostages are in the structure, just ahead." Kirk, speaking into communicator, "This is strike team. Start your run." John says, "Who are you?" Street. Kirk, "Phasers on stun. Get rid of the mount. Sulu, take out that light." "Yes, Captain." Interior saloon. Sybok, "What's going on?" Chekhov's image. "I instruct you to surrender at once. You are under attack by superior Federation forces." Sybok, "Do you realize what you've done?" Exterior Streets of Paradise, a series of shots. Kirk says, "Uhura, come on down." Interior shuttlecraft. Uhura, "Roger, coming in." Interior saloon. Kirk and Spock enter. Kirk says, "Thank God." Caitlin, arms, gun, and aims, "Please cooperate." Cord, arms, gun, and aims. Talbot, "Would you mind handing over your weapons?" Exterior Paradise, Street. Sybok says first to his followers, "Well done." Notices Spock. "Spock!" Spock says, "You are under arrest for 17 violations of the Neutral Zone Treaty. However, if you surrender now," Sybok says, "I'm not through violating Neutral Zone Treaty. In fact, I'm just getting started. I must have your starship." Kirk says, "You staged all this to get your hands on my ship?" Sybok says, "Who are you?" "James D. Kirk, captain of the Enterprise." "I'll take the ship." Scene 11, Enterprise Bridge. Scotty, "Shuttle en route." Chekhov, "Position bird of prey." Scotty, "Closing." Interior bird of prey, bridge, Vixus, in Klingon subtitles. "Estimating attack range in 8,000 kilocams." Claw, in Klingon subtitles. "Stealth approach. Slow to 1/4 impulse power. Prepare to cloak." "Engage cloaking device." Exterior space, angle, bird of prey cloaks. Enterprise bridge, Scotty, "Mr. Chekhov, I've lost the bird of prey. She must have cloaked." Chekhov, "Raise shields." Scotty, "But the shuttle." Chekhov, "Do it. Go to red alert." Exterior space, angle, Galileo. Interior Galileo, Chekhov's voice. "Galileo, this is Enterprise. Condition red alert. Bird of prey approaching. She is cloaked. Raising shields." Enterprise, bridge, featuring Chekhov. "Recommend Galileo find safe harbor until situation secure." Interior Galileo, Chekhov's voice. "Acknowledge." Sybok, "Remain on course." Kirk, "Enterprise." Interior bird of prey. Kirk's voice, "This is Kirk." Claw, in Klingon subtitles. "Kirk, he's on the shuttlecraft. Alter the attack course." Interior Galileo. Kirk, "Stand by to execute emergency landing plan B." Enterprise bridge, Chekhov. "What's emergency landing plan B?" Scotty, "He can't be serious. Exterior space, Angle, Enterprise, and Galileo. Interior Galileo, Sybok. What are you doing? Kirk. Scotty, on my mark. Open bay doors. Exterior Enterprise, doors slowly open. Bird of prey, bridge. Claw's point of view, view scope. Claw in Klingon subtitles. Stand by to decloak for firing. Interior Galileo. Kirk. Kirk to Scotty. Lower shields. Enterprise, bridge, Scotty. Lowering shields, sir. Exterior space. Bird of prey decloaks. Interior Galileo. Uhura. Bird of prey bearing 105 Mark II. Go, Sulu. Exterior space, Enterprise and Galileo. Interior Enterprise, landing bay. Galileo crashes into the aft hull before flying into the shuttle bay and slamming into webbing that stops the shuttle. Interior Galileo, chaos of bodies. Interior Enterprise, bridge, Scotty. They're in! Bird of prey, bridge, Claw, in Klingon subtitles. Bear on Enterprise! Vixus, in Klingon subtitles. Enterprise targeted. Enterprise bridge. Chekhov. Warp speed now! Bird of prey, bridge, Claw, in Klingon subtitles. Fire! Exterior space, Angle, Enterprise. Warps as Klingon torpedo misses. Claw in Klingon subtitles. Tracker course! Scene 12. Landing bay, Enterprise. Interior Galileo. Sybok says, we must change our course at once. Kirk says, I'll take you to the bridge. Landing bay, Kirk and Sybok tussle. Gun slides across the deck. Spock, with gun at his feet. Kirk, strangled by Sybok, says, pick it up! Spock says, Sybok, you must surrender. No, you must kill me. Sybok takes the gun from Spock. Sybok says, for a moment, I thought you might actually do it. Put him in the brig with Captain Kirk. Spock, you will accompany me to the bridge? No, I will not. Then you must join them. Cord says, these two will be useful. Sybok, give us a moment alone. Scene 13, Interior Enterprise brig. Spock, if I had pulled the trigger, Sybok would be dead. I ordered you to defend your ship. You ordered me to kill my brother. Look, the man may be a fellow Vulcan, but that doesn't... Technically, you are correct. I do not have a brother. I gotta sit down. Sybok's mother was a Vulcan princess. Upon her death, Sybok and I were raised as brothers. McCoy to Kirk. Spock can no more kill his own brother than he could kill you. I'll say one thing, Spock. You never cease to amaze me. Nor I myself. Enterprise bridge. Chekhov says, I was beginning to worry. Where is the captain? Sulu, what are you doing? Plotting our new course. New course? What's going on here? Sybok says, I won't force you. Brig. Kirk is fiddling with circuits in the ceiling. Spock says, useless. Unwise. Kirk is electrocuted and falls to the floor. There's got to be a way out of this place. It is escape-proof. How do you know? The designers tested it using the most intelligent and resourceful person they could find. He failed to escape. This person didn't by any chance have pointed ears And an unerring capacity for getting his shipmates into trouble, did he? He did have pointed ears. Exterior space, Enterprise at warp. Interior Enterprise bridge, Sybok. Brave crew of the Starship Enterprise. Interior brig, intercutting with monitor screen, Sybok's image. My Vulcan ancestors believed with their hearts. They believed in a place in which questions of existence would be answered. Modern dogma tells us this place is a myth. Sybok's voice continues. It exists. I tell you. Bridge, Sybok. Our destination is the planet Shakari, which lies beyond the Great Barrier. Brig, Sybok's image on screen outside a brig, at the center of the galaxy. Kirk says, center of the galaxy. Spock says, where Shakari is fabled to exist. But the center of the galaxy can't be reached. No ship has ever gone into the Great Barrier. No probe has ever returned. Sybok possessed the keenest intellect I have ever known. Spock, my only concern is getting the ship back. Until then, you're either with me or you're not. I am here, Captain. That's a little vague, Spock. What's that noise? I believe it is Morse code. You're right. I'm a little out of practice. That's an S, a T, A, N, D, end of word. McCoy, stand. New word. B, A, C, K, back. Stand back. All together. Stand back? The brig wall explodes, leaving a big smoking hole. Scotty says, What are you standing around for? Interior corridor. Sybok says, The bond between these three is strong, difficult to penetrate. This will be quite a challenge. Empty brig with a big hole blasted out of the wall is all that he sees. Interior bowels of Enterprise. Scotty says, Captain, we can't trust anyone now. Kirk says, If we could send a distress signal. Spock, there's an emergency sending apparatus in the forward observation room. The only problem is, it's up there. We're down here. You might be able to reach it by means of turbo shaft number 3, which is closed for repairs. It's a long and dangerous climb. Some of us get off on long and dangerous climbs. Mr. Scott, get the transporter working. If we contact a rescue ship, we'll need it. Which way to the turbo shaft? Head down that tunnel to the hydro vent and turn right, then left at the blow screen. You can't miss it. Mr. Scott, you're amazing. Oh, there's nothing amazing about it. I know this ship like the back of my hand. Interior turbo shaft. Kirk says, We'll get a good workout. McCoy, yeah, or a heart attack. Jim, this is going to take me forever. Where's Spock? Spock hovers downward on his rocket boots. Spock, I believe I found a faster way. Bones? You two go ahead. We're not splitting up. It would appear we are too heavy. Spock, the booster rockets. If I activate them now, Captain, we will be propelled upward at an unbelievable rate. Fire the rockets! Angle below. Sulu says, Captain, please come back down! Angle, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy nearing dead end of shaft. Kirk says, Hit the brakes! Spock, I'm afraid I overshot the mark by 1 level. McCoy, nobody's perfect. Spock, emergency channel open. This is Captain James T. Kirk of the Federation Starship Enterprise. If you read me, acknowledge. Acknowledge. Enterprise, this is Starfleet Command. We read you. Over. A hostile force has seized control of our vessel and put us on a direct course with the Great Barrier. Our coordinates are 000, Spock says. Mark II. Mark II. Request emergency assistance. Acknowledge. Bird of Prey, Bridge, Vixus in English. Understood, Enterprise. We are dispatching a rescue ship immediately. Kirk's voice. Roger, Starfleet. Claw in Klingon, subtitled. Plot course 000, Mark II. Vixus in Klingon, subtitled. But Captain, that course will take us into the barrier as well. Scene 15, Forward Observation Room, Sybok. I trust your message was received. You can't expect us to stand by while you take the ship into the Great Barrier. What you fear is the unknown. It's an extension of personal fear. Are you afraid to hear me out? I'm afraid of nothing. Sybok to John. Wait outside. Kirk. I'm a prisoner on my own ship. What is this power you have to control the minds of my crew? Sybok. I don't control minds. I free them. McCoy. How? Sybok. Face your pain. McCoy. Sounds like brainwashing to me. Your pain. What? I can feel it. Exterior, 23rd century city skyline visible through window. Old man's voice. Leonard. McCoy. Some kind of trick. Leonard. Father? Oh my God, don't do this to me. Angle, McCoy in hospital room. His father. Leonard. I'm here. I'm with you, Dad. The pain. Stop the pain. I've done everything I can do. I can't stand the pain. Help me. All my knowledge and I can't save him. Sybok. You've done all you can. The support system will keep him alive. You call this alive? Son, release me. I can't do that, Dad. But how? How can I watch him suffer like this? You're a doctor. I'm his son. McCoy turns off the life support. Why did you do it? To preserve his dignity. That wasn't the worst of it. No. Not long after, they found a cure. A goddamn cure. So if you hadn't killed him, he might have lived. No. I love my father. I released him. Then you did what you thought was right. Yes. No. Yes. Release it. This pain has poisoned your soul for a long time. Sybok turns his attention to Spock. Spock says, I hide no pain. Sybok replies, I know you better than that. Spock, do you? Proceed. Spock's birth in a Vulcan cave. Little Spock is held out to his father, Sarek. Sarek says with disgust, so human. Spock, to Sybok, what have you done to my friends? I've done nothing. This is who they are. Now learn something about yourself. No, I refuse. Jim, try to be open about this. About what? That I've made the wrong choices in my life? That I turned left when I should have turned right? I know what my weaknesses are. I don't need Sybok to take me on a tour of them. If you just unbend and allow yourself and be brainwashed by this con man, I was wrong. This con man took away my pain. Damn it, Bones, you're a doctor. You know the Pain and guilt can't be taken away with the wave of a magic wand. They're the things we carry with us, the things that make us who we are. If we lose them, we lose ourselves. I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain. Uhura's voice. This is the bridge. We're in approach of the Great Barrier. Sybok. Captain, I'm afraid you'll have to remain here. Spock, Dr. McCoy, come with me. Spock? I cannot go with you. Why not? I belong here. Count me out, too. Then I'll see you on the other side. Wait! You know we'll never make it through the Great Barrier. But if we do, will that convince you that my vision was true? Your vision, given to me by God. He waits for us on the other side. You are mad. Am I? Scene 16, exterior space, the Great Barrier, bridge, angle to include view screen. Sulu. No ship could survive this. Sybok. I say they're wrong. Chekhov. We have no instruments readings. Sybok. Mr. Sulu, full ahead. Exterior space, angle, Enterprise, pull into forward observation room, angle inside the barrier, clouds finally clear, revealing exterior space, a strange blue planet, Shakari. Kirk's voice. Is it possible? Interior forward observation room. Spock says, fascinating. Interior bridge, angle to include view screen. Chekhov says, instruments are back online. Strange blue world on the view screen. Sybok says, Shakari. Cord says, Q itu. Caitlin says, Vortavor. And Talbot says, Eden. Kirk, about the ship. No special conditions? Sybok, the ship needs its captain. What makes you think I won't turn us around? Because you too must know. Well, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it by the book. Mr. Chekhov, you take the con. Mr. Sulu's standard orbital approach. Uhura, alert the shuttlecraft to stand by. Sybok, Spock, Dr. McCoy, come with me. Scene 17, shuttle Copernicus streaks toward the planet, disappearing into the swirling white clouds. Interior Copernicus, Spock pilots a craft. He, McCoy, and Kirk have changed into Starfleet uniforms. The blue planet below becomes a desert terrain. Interior Copernicus, Spock removes his hands from the console and says, I am no longer in control of the craft. Exterior planet Shakari, more desert terrain, as Copernicus comes in for a soft landing. Exterior outside shuttle, crew disembarks. Sybok says, the land, the sky, just as I knew it would be. Enterprise transporter room, Scotty's hard at work. Scotty says, a captain told me to get this transporter working, and I'm not about to let him down. Exterior planet, Kirk walks around the base of the tall peak. Enterprise bridge, a graphic of the bird of prey appears and a warning. No one is at the station to respond. Sybok says, we have traveled far by starship. A rumble from within the planet, a shadow engulfs the sky above. Clouds turn ashen and threatening, transforming day into night. A pillar of rock rips through the surface and climbs skyward. Then another and another. They encircle the amphitheater like rock ribs. The ribs of rock form a crude cathedral. Inside, a shaft of energy explodes out of the ground in the cathedral. Exterior space, angle, planet, and Enterprise. The energy shaft rises from the planet like a beacon of light. Energy shaft pulsates and throbs with life. God's voice comes from within. Welcome. McCoy says, is this the voice of God? One voice, many faces. The faces coalesce into the biblical God of the Old Testament who looks like Santa Claus. God says, "Does this better suit your expectations?" Sybok says, "Qual sei tu? It is I. The barrier stood between us, but we breached it." "How did you breach the barrier?" "With a starship." "I shall make use of this starship." "It will be your chariot." Kirk says, "Excuse me." God says, "It will carry my power to every corner of creation." Kirk says, "Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with the starship?" "Bring the ship closer." "I said, what does God need with a starship?" "Jim, what are you doing?" "I'm asking a question." "Who is this creature?" "Who am I? Don't you know? Aren't you God?" "He has his doubts." "You doubt me?" "I seek proof." "Here is the proof you seek." God's thunderbolt strikes Kirk in the chest, sending him flying 10 feet onto his back, his uniform smoking. Kirk says, "Why is God angry?" Sybok, "Why have you done this?" "He doubts me." Spock says, "You have not answered his question. What does God need with a starship?" Thunderbolt hits Spock, who falls to the ground. God says to McCoy, "Do you doubt me?" McCoy, "I doubt God who inflicts pain for his own pleasure." "I must have the ship now. Give me what I want." Sybok, this is not the god of Shakari. "I don't understand." Angle God. God changes into Sybok himself, laughing. "Don't you like this face? I have so many." "No, no." "The ship. Bring it closer, or watch these puny things die horribly." Kirk into his communicator. "Kirk to Enterprise, listen carefully." Sybok, "This is my doing, my arrogance, my vanity. You must save yourselves. Forgive me, brother. Forgive me." Angle, God and Sybok. Sybok says, "Your pain, share it with me." Angle, energy shaft. The two Syboks battle. Kirk into his communicator. "Enterprise, are you ready?" Enterprise bridge. Chekhov, "Captain, we're firing directly on your position." Kirk says, "Send it down, Mr. Chekhov! Now!" Space, Angle, Enterprise, and energy shaft. Photon torpedo leaves the launcher and streaks forward. Kirk yells, "Run! Go!" Long shot. Heroes dive for cover. A rumbling sound from within the planet. God howls. Kirk says, "Let's get out of here." Scene 18, interior Copernicus. Kirk says, "Spock, get us out of here." A tremendous blow rocks the shuttle. God is out there and he wants to get in. Spock says, "Thrusters are inoperative." Kirk into his communicator. "Mr. Scott." Scotty's voice. "Scotty here, sir." "Please tell me the transporter is working." Interior Enterprise transporter room. Scotty says, "She's got partial power, sir. I might be able to take two of you." Switch to interior Copernicus. Kirk says, "Beam up Spock and Dr. McCoy, now." McCoy says, "Now wait just a damn minute." Interior Enterprise transporter room. Spock says, "Thank you, Mr. Scott. Beam up the captain." "Aye, sir." Exterior space, Angle Enterprise and Bird of Prey. Bird of Prey fires on Enterprise. Enterprise transporter explodes in a shower of sparks. God chases Kirk out of the shuttlecraft, fires thunderbolts at him. Interior Enterprise bridge. McCoy says, "What about Jim? We can't just leave him down there." Spock says, "Please get a grip on yourself, Doctor." To Uhura, "Status report." Uhura, "Klingon captain wishes to name his terms, Mr. Spock." On screen. Claw's image. "The renegade James T. Kirk. Hand him over." Spock says, "Captain Kirk is not among us." "You lie." "I'm a Vulcan." "Give me his coordinates." Spock turns to Cord. "General, I am in need of your assistance." "My, Assistance. You are his superior officer. I am a foolish old man. Damn you, sir. You will try. Exterior planet. With nowhere to go, Kirk scales a steep pinnacle. God fires on the rock. Kirk is climbing up. God howls. Klingon bird of prey approaches. Fires on God, apparently killing him. Kirk is beamed aboard the Klingon bird of prey and taken to its bridge. Cord says, "Release him! Kirk, my junior officer has something he wants to say to you." "I apologize." The command chair swivels around to reveal its occupant to be Sybok. Like Darwin before him, only he could have killed God. Kirk says, "Sybok?" Sybok says, "Welcome aboard, Captain." Kirk says, "Sybok, I thought I was going to die." Sybok says, "You were never alone." Kirk moves to embrace him. Sybok says, "Please, Captain, not in front of the Klingons." Scene 19, Interior Enterprise, forward observation room, angle, Spock and McCoy by window, looking out as Kirk approaches. Kirk says, "Cosmic thoughts, gentlemen?" McCoy says, "We were speculating. Is God real?" Kirk says, "He's not, Bones." Final scene, exterior, Yosemite, night. Spock plucks at his Vulcan harp. Kirk says, "Are you going to play something?" Spock says, "No."